Focus Your Mind Until You Win. Written and published by Stoic Ranger. Introduction. Most people lose not because they're untalented, but because they can't focus long enough to win. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Your phone, social media, endless notifications and constant noise pulling your attention in 1,000 directions. But here's the truth. Every dream you've ever had is still waiting for you, hidden behind that wall of scattered focus. Winners aren't superhuman. They've simply mastered the ability to block out what doesn't matter. They know how to lock in, to channel their energy into one clear direction while the rest of the world stays distracted. Imagine what would happen if you did the same. If you silenced the noise, ignored the nonsense, and gave your goals the ruthless focus they deserve. You'd move faster, think sharper, execute better. You'd become unstoppable. This journey isn't about chasing motivation. Motivation fades. What you need is mental domination, the ability to control your mind, to discipline your thoughts, and to stay focused until you win. Because in the end, success doesn't belong to the smartest or the luckiest. It belongs to those who can focus their mind until they win, and never settle for less. Chapter 1. The Enemy Within. Recognizing mental noise. Your mind is like a battlefield, but the real enemy isn't something you can see or touch. It's not other people, external problems, or even the challenges life throws at you. The true enemy is the constant noise inside your own head. This noise comes in many forms. Doubts that make you question your abilities, negative thoughts that lower your self-esteem, endless overthinking that keeps you stuck, and random distractions that pull you away from your goals. These inner distractions are sneaky. They don't announce themselves. They blend into your normal thinking patterns, making it hard to notice how much control they actually have over you. Think about how often you try to concentrate on something important, but suddenly your mind drifts. You remember a past mistake, worry about the future, or start thinking about irrelevant things like checking your phone or browsing social media. This is mental noise in action. It steals your focus without you even realizing it. You feel busy, but you're not productive. Hours pass, and you wonder where your time went. That's the silent power of mental noise. The real danger of this inner enemy is that it feels familiar. You're so used to hearing these thoughts that you start believing them. You might think, I'm just not motivated today, or I'll start later, but these are just distractions disguised as reasonable thoughts. Over time, this noise becomes the biggest barrier between you and your goals. To regain control, you need brutal honesty. You must pause and ask yourself hard questions. What is truly stealing my attention right now? Why am I thinking about things that don't help me move forward? Is this thought serving my success or sabotaging it? This level of self-awareness is not easy, but it's necessary. Until you recognize how much of your attention is wasted on useless thoughts, you'll keep losing focus and blaming outside factors. Winning the battle against mental noise requires patience and practice. Start observing your thoughts without reacting to them. When you notice your mind drifting, gently bring your focus back to the present task. Don't judge yourself, just correct your course. With time, this simple act of recognizing and redirecting your attention becomes a powerful habit. The truth is, you will never eliminate mental noise completely, but you can reduce its power over you. By becoming aware of it, by calling it out, you weaken its grip. This is the first and most important step in mastering your focus. You cannot control your mind until you recognize when it's out of control. Success starts in the mind, and before you can focus on your goals, you must first conquer the enemy within. Chapter 2. The Power of Single Tasking. Win one battle at a time. In a world that constantly tells you to multitask, to juggle 5 things at once, and to always be busy, it's easy to believe that doing more means achieving more. But the truth is brutally simple. When you divide your attention, you weaken your power. Your mind was not designed to give its best to multiple things at the same time. Every time you switch tasks, your focus gets scattered, your energy drains faster, and the quality of your work suffers. Multitasking is not a strength. It's a hidden weakness that fools you into feeling productive while keeping you stuck in shallow work. Single tasking, on the other hand, is the mindset of true winners. It means giving your full, undivided attention to one task, one goal, one challenge at a time. It's about going deep, not wide. Think of it like digging a well. If you dig a little bit here, then move to another spot and dig a little there, you'll never reach water. But if you focus your effort in one place, digging consistently, you'll eventually hit the source. Success works the same way. When you single task, you bring the full power of your mind to bear on the task in front of you. You enter a state of flow where time seems to slow down, distractions fade away, and your productivity skyrockets. It's in these moments that you do your best work, solve your biggest problems, and make real progress toward your goals. Every small task, completed with full focus, builds your momentum and strengthens your ability to concentrate even more. Winning one battle at a time is not about being slow or limited. It's about being strategic. You're not trying to do everything at once. You're trying to do the right thing right now with excellence. This is how big goals are achieved. Not in a frenzy of scattered effort, but through focused, deliberate action, one step at a time. But mastering single tasking requires discipline. In a world full of notifications, temptations, and constant noise, staying focused on one thing is a challenge. You have to train yourself to resist the urge to check your phone, to click on that tempting video, or to switch tasks every few minutes. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice single tasking, the stronger your focus becomes. Start small. Choose one task that matters. Set a timer for 25 or 50 minutes. During that time, give it your full attention. No switching, no distractions. When the time is up, take a short break, then repeat. This simple habit will transform your productivity and sharpen your mental clarity over time. Remember, success is not about how many things you can start. It's about how many things you can finish. Winners don't scatter their energy. They focus it like a laser beam. They win one battle at a time, and each victory builds towards the ultimate win. Your mind is a powerful weapon, but it can only hit its target when you aim it at one thing at a time. Master single tasking, and you will master your path to success. Chapter 3. Mental discipline. Training your attention like a muscle. Focus is not something you're born with. It's not a talent reserved for a lucky few. Focus is a mental muscle. Just like your body gets stronger with exercise, your ability to concentrate grows with training. But here's the harsh truth. Most people never train this muscle. They let their minds stay weak, distracted, and easily controlled by anything that demands attention. That's why they struggle to stay consistent, to follow through, to succeed. Mental discipline is the daily practice of choosing where your mind goes and refusing to let it wander aimlessly. It's about taking responsibility for your attention and not being a slave to every notification, every thought, every emotional impulse. Think of your mind as an untrained puppy. Left alone, it will run wild, chewing on everything in sight. But with patient, consistent training, it learns to stay, to focus, to obey. Your mind is the same. Every time you catch yourself drifting into distraction and gently pull your attention back, you are doing a mental rep. Every moment you resist the urge to check your phone, scroll mindlessly, or avoid difficult work, you are strengthening your focus muscle. The more reps you do, the stronger you become. It's not about perfection. You will get distracted. But the discipline lies in how quickly you bring yourself back to the task at hand. Start with short focus sessions. 10 minutes of pure, undistracted work might feel hard at first, but that's how you build endurance. Over time, you'll find yourself able to focus for longer stretches, 20, 30, even 60 minutes without losing concentration. This is how high performers, successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and artists train their minds to operate at elite levels. Discipline also means creating rules for yourself and sticking to them. Set specific times for focused work. Eliminate known distractions from your environment. Use tools like timers, focus apps, or simply switch off your notifications. These external supports are not signs of weakness. They are smart strategies to protect your attention while your mental muscle grows. But there's another layer to mental discipline: managing your emotional impulses. Often we lose focus not because of external distractions, but because of internal emotional reactions: boredom, frustration, anxiety. Mental discipline teaches you to observe these emotions without letting them hijack your attention. You learn to acknowledge the feeling and still stay on task. This level of control is what separates the average from the extraordinary. Remember, no one becomes disciplined overnight. Just like building a strong body takes months of consistent effort, mastering your focus requires patience and persistence. But the rewards are life-changing. With a trained mind, you'll be able to dive deep into your work, stay calm under pressure, and execute your plans with precision. Mental discipline is about freedom. Freedom from being controlled by every little distraction. Freedom from the weakness of quitting when things get hard. Freedom to focus your mind until you win. And every time you choose to focus, you take one step closer to becoming unstoppable. Chapter 4. Cut the noise. Build a focused environment. One of the most overlooked keys to mastering your focus is the environment you place yourself in every single day. People often blame themselves for their lack of concentration, thinking it's just a matter of personal weakness. But the truth is, your surroundings have a powerful, often invisible influence on your ability to focus. If you constantly expose yourself to an environment full of noise, clutter, and distractions, you are fighting an uphill battle. Even the strongest mind struggles to stay sharp in a chaotic space. Your brain is highly sensitive to visual and auditory input. Every open tab on your browser, every notification sound, every pile of clutter on your desk sends tiny signals to your brain, pulling pieces of your attention away from what truly matters. Even when you think you're ignoring them, your brain is silently processing these distractions in the background, draining your mental energy. Over time, this scattered attention weakens your focus and leaves you mentally exhausted. To build a mind that can concentrate deeply, you must first create an environment that supports that goal. This means being ruthless about cutting the noise, not just the literal noise, but anything that fragments your attention. Start by decluttering your physical space. A clean, organized desk is not just aesthetically pleasing, it gives your mind a sense of order and calm. Remove anything from your workspace that doesn't serve your current task. Keep only what you need to complete your work. This simple act of decluttering reduces mental friction and makes it easier for your brain to settle into focus. Next, address the digital noise. Smartphones, social media, constant notifications, these are modern-day attention traps. Every ping, every vibration hijacks your focus and trains your brain to expect constant interruptions. To fight this, you need to take control. Turn off non-essential notifications. Use website blockers during work sessions. Place your phone in another room if necessary. The fewer distractions available, the easier it becomes to enter a state of deep work. But noise isn't always external. Sometimes the people around you can be a source of constant interruption. If possible, create boundaries with family, friends, or co-workers during your focus time. Let them know that during certain hours, you are not to be disturbed. Protecting your focus is not selfish. It's essential for achieving meaningful results. You can also use your environment to trigger focus. For example, having a specific place where you always do deep work trains your brain to associate that spot with concentration. This could be a quiet corner in your home, a particular desk, or even a specific chair. Over time, just being in that space will signal your brain that it's time to focus. Similarly, playing soft instrumental music or white noise can help mask distracting sounds and enhance your concentration. Another powerful tactic is simplifying your digital workspace. Close all unnecessary browser tabs. Keep only the application or document you're working on open. This minimizes the temptation to switch tasks and keeps your attention anchored. Remember, every time you switch between tasks, your brain loses valuable time and energy refocusing. Streamlining your digital environment helps you stay locked in. Cutting the noise is about creating a space where focus feels natural, not forced. It's about designing your surroundings to support your goals, not sabotage them. This is not a one-time fix. It's a habit, a daily commitment to protect your mental space from the chaos of the outside world. When you build an environment that encourages focus, you no longer have to rely on sheer willpower alone. Your surroundings will work with you, not against you. Focus becomes easier, deeper, and more sustainable. You'll find yourself completing tasks faster, with better quality, and with far less mental strain. Never underestimate the power of your environment. It shapes your habits, your mindset, and ultimately, your success. Cut the noise, build a focused space, and you'll unlock a level of clarity and productivity you never thought possible. This is how you create a foundation for unstoppable focus. Chapter 5. Purpose-driven focus. Know your why. Focus without purpose is like a ship without a compass. You might be moving, you might be working hard, but without clear direction, you're just drifting, wasting precious time and energy. This is why so many people struggle with staying focused. It's not because they're lazy or lack discipline, it's because they haven't anchored their focus to a meaningful purpose. They don't know their why. And without a strong why, distractions become too tempting, obstacles feel too heavy, and motivation fades quickly. Your why is the deeper reason behind your actions. It's not just the surface-level goal of getting rich or being successful. Those are vague desires. A true why is personal, emotional, and deeply connected to your identity and values. It's the fuel that keeps you going when things get hard. It's what reminds you of what's at stake when your mind starts to wander. Without it, your focus will always be fragile, easily shattered by the slightest discomfort or distraction. Imagine a person climbing a mountain. The climb is hard, exhausting, and sometimes painful. But if that person knows they're climbing to rescue someone they love, every step becomes non-negotiable. The pain doesn't stop them because their purpose is bigger than the obstacles. The same principle applies to your focus. When your why is strong enough, it acts as an internal compass, constantly pulling your attention back to what truly matters, no matter how many distractions try to pull you away. To develop purpose-driven focus, you must first take time to reflect deeply on your goals. Ask yourself, why do I want to achieve this? What will it mean for my life if I succeed? What will it cost me if I don't? These questions are not meant for surface-level answers. Dig deep. Go beyond what sounds good and reach for what feels deeply personal. Maybe you want to build a better life for your family. Maybe you want to prove to yourself that you're capable of greatness. Maybe you want freedom, respect, or the ability to make a difference. Whatever it is, it must resonate with your heart, not just your mind. Once you identify your true why, keep it visible. Write it down. Place it where you'll see it every day. On your desk, your phone's wallpaper, your bathroom mirror. This constant reminder reinforces your commitment and helps you stay focused during moments of weakness. When distractions arise, you won't have to rely solely on willpower to resist them. Your purpose will act as a shield, protecting your attention and guiding you back to your mission. Purpose-driven focus also sharpens your ability to prioritize. When you know your why, it becomes easier to distinguish between tasks that matter and those that are just noise. You stop wasting time on activities that don't serve your bigger vision. Every action becomes intentional, every effort aligned with your ultimate goal. This clarity reduces overwhelm and brings a sense of peace, even amidst a busy life, because you know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. But purpose is not static. It evolves as you grow. That's why it's important to regularly revisit your why, especially during periods of doubt or when motivation dips. Reconnecting with your purpose reignites your passion and renews your focus. It reminds you of the bigger picture and gives new energy to your daily efforts. Remember, external rewards like money, fame, or recognition can only motivate you for so long. True, lasting focus comes from within. It's powered by a purpose so meaningful that giving up is simply not an option. This is what separates those who stay focused until they win from those who get lost in distractions. In the end, focus is not about forcing yourself to concentrate. It's about caring so deeply about your mission that nothing else deserves your attention. When you align your focus with your purpose, you become unstoppable. Every action has meaning. Every effort moves you forward. Distractions lose their appeal because they offer nothing compared to the fulfillment of living with purpose. Know your why. Hold it close. Let it guide your focus until you win. Chapter 6. The Art of Saying No. Guard your attention ruthlessly. One of the most powerful skills you can develop on your journey to unstoppable focus is the ability to say no. It sounds simple, but in practice it is one of the hardest things to do. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Social media notifications, endless emails, invitations to unimportant meetings, people asking for just a minute of your time. All of these are small, subtle thieves that rob you of your most valuable resource, your focus. Most people struggle to say no because they fear missing out, disappointing others, or appearing rude. They agree to tasks they don't want to do, engage in conversations that drain their energy, and allow their schedules to be filled with low-priority activities. Over time, this habit of saying yes to everything spreads their attention thin. They feel busy, overwhelmed, yet strangely unfulfilled, because they're spending their days reacting to other people's agendas instead of working on their own dreams. You must understand this truth. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something that could change your life. Time and attention are finite. You cannot focus deeply on your goals if you're constantly giving away pieces of yourself to tasks and distractions that don't align with your purpose. Learning to say no is not about being selfish. It's about being strategic. It's about valuing your time, your goals, and your mental clarity enough to protect them from being diluted. Guarding your attention starts with getting crystal clear on your priorities. When you know what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to recognize which requests and opportunities deserve a no. You begin to see that not every meeting is necessary, not every favor must be accepted, and not every social event adds value to your life. Saying no creates space for deep work, for meaningful progress, for mental rest, and for personal growth. But saying no is not just about declining external requests. It also means saying no to your own impulses. No to the urge of checking your phone every 5 minutes. No to watching just one more video. No to procrastinating on tasks that matter. This internal discipline is what sharpens your focus muscle and keeps you aligned with your bigger vision. Saying no is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Start by setting clear boundaries. Define specific hours of the day when you will not be available for interruptions. Communicate these boundaries firmly but respectfully. Remember, you are not obligated to give explanations for every no. A simple, polite refusal is enough. Thank you, but I won't be able to commit to that. Or, I have to focus on my priorities right now. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Another powerful technique is to create a decision filter. Before agreeing to anything, ask yourself, does this align with my top goals? Will this contribute to my long-term success or happiness? Am I saying yes out of guilt or obligation? If the answer is no, then you know what to do. Politely decline and stay focused on what matters. It's important to remember that every highly successful person in any field is a master of saying no. They understand that their time and focus are their most valuable assets. They guard them with fierce determination. This is not by accident, it's by design. If you want to reach your full potential, you must adopt the same mindset. You'll notice something incredible when you start saying no more often. Your mental clarity improves, your stress levels drop, and your productivity soars. You feel in control of your time, your energy, and your life. You begin to experience the profound power of focus, not as a struggle, but as a natural state of being. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that your goals, your peace of mind, and your personal growth are important enough to be protected. Every no to distraction is a yes to your future success. Guard your attention ruthlessly, because no one else will do it for you. Chapter 7. Relentless consistency. Focus until you win. Success is rarely about grand moments of inspiration or sudden bursts of genius. It's not the result of occasional hard work or flashes of motivation. True, lasting success belongs to those who understand the quiet, often invisible power of relentless consistency. To focus your mind until you win, you must commit to showing up every single day with unwavering dedication, regardless of how you feel. This is the mindset that separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishful thinkers from the real achievers. Consistency is not exciting. It's not glamorous. In fact, it's often boring and repetitive. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. While most people give up when the work becomes tedious or when results are slow to appear, the few who persist, who keep doing the right thing day after day, are the ones who eventually break through. They understand that mastery of any skill, any craft, any goal is built brick by brick through small, focused efforts compounded over time. Relentless consistency requires a shift in mindset. You must stop chasing quick wins and start playing the long game. This means committing to your process even when progress seems invisible. It means trusting that your focused efforts today are planting seeds that will bear fruit in the future, even if you can't see it yet. This kind of faith in the process is what keeps your focus alive when motivation fades. One of the biggest traps that kills consistency is the obsession with results. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification. We want immediate success, quick validation, and fast rewards. But true focus requires you to detach from short-term outcomes. Instead of asking, "How fast can I succeed?" you should be asking, "How long can I stay focused without giving up?" The longer you can sustain your focus, the more inevitable your success becomes. But how do you maintain this relentless consistency in a world full of distractions, setbacks, and emotional highs and lows? The answer lies in systems, not just goals. Goals give you direction, but systems create daily habits that keep you moving forward. Focus on building routines that support your mission. Design your days in a way that makes focused work non-negotiable. This could be as simple as dedicating the first hour of your morning to deep work, creating time blocks for important tasks, or setting daily focus targets. Accountability also plays a key role. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even a simple habit tracker, having a mechanism to hold yourself accountable reinforces your commitment to consistency. Every time you complete a focused work session, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're also strengthening your identity as someone who follows through. Relentless consistency also demands emotional resilience. There will be days when things don't go as planned, days when you feel tired, frustrated, or uninspired. These are the moments that test your character. Anyone can be consistent when it's easy, but champions are made in those difficult moments when they choose to stay focused despite how they feel. Discipline over mood, commitment over comfort. That's how you build unshakable focus. It's important to celebrate small wins along the way. Every focused hour, every completed task, every small improvement is a victory. These moments reinforce your belief in the process and keep you motivated to continue. Remember, consistency is a marathon, not a sprint. Progress may be slow, but it's always moving in the right direction as long as you stay focused. In time, your relentless consistency compounds into unstoppable momentum. What once felt difficult becomes automatic. Focus becomes your natural state. You develop a quiet confidence, knowing that no matter how long the journey takes, you will win because you simply refuse to quit. This is the ultimate power of focus, not a momentary flash of attention, but a relentless daily commitment to your mission. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just need to be the one who stays focused until the end. That is how you win. Relentless consistency is the master key. Focus your mind, protect it daily, show up no matter what, and success will be forced to surrender to your will. 8. The unbreakable mindset. Becoming immune to distraction. Reaching the level of true, unshakable focus is not just about managing your environment, building habits, or staying consistent. There is a deeper transformation that must happen, the creation of an unbreakable mindset. This is the state where distractions no longer control you because you have fundamentally changed your relationship with them. It's not that distractions stop existing, it's that they stop having power over you. Most people approach focus as a constant battle, resisting temptations, fighting off interruptions, struggling to stay on track. But this reactive approach is exhausting. You might win a few battles, but long-term success requires something stronger: mental immunity to distraction. This doesn't mean you become a robot. It means you train your mind to stay anchored in purpose, no matter how much noise surrounds you. To build an unbreakable mindset, you must first understand that distractions are not the real enemy. They are merely signals, reflections of your own internal state. When you feel restless, bored, anxious, or uncertain, distractions become more tempting. They offer an easy escape. The real challenge is not external noise, but the discomfort within. Therefore, the path to becoming immune to distraction starts with learning to sit with discomfort without running from it. This is where mindfulness and self-awareness come into play. Train yourself to notice when your attention starts to drift. Observe the emotions, the urges, the subtle pull toward easier, more pleasurable tasks. Don't judge yourself. Don't panic. Simply watch. This act of mindful observation weakens the grip of distraction because it creates a gap between stimulus and response. In that gap lies your power to choose. The next step is to cultivate deep engagement with your work. When you're fully immersed in what you're doing, when your task aligns with your skills and challenges you just enough, distractions naturally lose their appeal. This state, often called flow, is where your best work happens. The more often you experience it, the more your brain craves meaningful, focused work over shallow distractions. An unbreakable mindset also requires a strong sense of identity. You must see yourself as someone who values focus, who protects their attention, who doesn't get easily swayed by noise. Every time you resist a distraction, no matter how small, you reinforce this identity. Over time, it becomes part of who you are. Focus is no longer something you try to do. It becomes something you embody. But none of this happens overnight. Building immunity to distraction is a daily practice. It's about consistently choosing focus over ease, presence over escape, purpose over mindless consumption. Some days will be harder than others. You will slip. You will get distracted. That's normal. What matters is how quickly you bring yourself back. Every recovery strengthens your mental resilience. Another powerful aspect of an unbreakable mindset is detachment from outcome-based anxiety. Many distractions are born from the fear of failure, the pressure to succeed quickly, or the constant comparison with others. To stay focused, you must detach from these anxieties. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Let go of the need for immediate validation. Trust that if you keep showing up, doing the work, results will follow in time. You must also be willing to live differently from the average person. Most people are addicted to constant stimulation, scrolling, notifications, entertainment on demand. If you want extraordinary focus, you must embrace a different lifestyle. Simpler, quieter, more intentional. This might feel lonely at first, but it's the price of greatness. In the silence that others fear, you will find clarity, depth, and power. Becoming immune to distraction is not about building walls around you. It's about building inner strength. When your purpose is clear, your mind is trained, and your identity is aligned with focus, distractions lose their control over you. They may knock at your door, but you will no longer feel the urge to answer. This is the unbreakable mindset. A state where your attention becomes a weapon of precision. A state where you move through life with clarity while the world drowns in noise. When you reach this level, you don't need to force focus. It flows naturally. You become the master of your mind. You focus until you win. Chapter 9. Mastering Inner Stillness, the Ultimate Focus Superpower. Beyond strategies, routines, and even relentless consistency, there exists a deeper, almost secret weapon that only a few ever learn to master: inner stillness. In a world obsessed with constant activity, noise, and motion, the ability to be still, truly still, both mentally and emotionally, is a rare and powerful form of focus. This is not about sitting quietly while your mind races with 1,000 thoughts. Inner stillness is the state where your mind becomes calm, centered, and fully present, like a clear, undisturbed lake that reflects everything with perfect clarity. Most people never experience this depth of stillness because they are addicted to movement. The moment there's silence, they reach for their phones. The second boredom creeps in, they look for distraction. Their minds are like untamed rivers, constantly flowing, rarely resting. But the human mind wasn't designed to be in constant motion. True power comes from learning how to pause, how to quiet the mental chatter, and how to create space between stimulus and response. Inner stillness is not the absence of thought, but the mastery over how much attention you give to those thoughts. When you cultivate stillness, you no longer react automatically to every idea, worry, or urge that arises. You learn to observe your thoughts without being dragged by them. This separation, this quiet distance, is what allows focus to deepen. You no longer waste mental energy fighting distractions because distractions lose their power when faced with stillness. Achieving this state begins with training your awareness. Simple practices like mindful breathing, observing your thoughts without judgment, or even short moments of intentional silence throughout your day can begin to develop your inner stillness. These are not just spiritual exercises, they are practical tools for sharpening your focus. When your mind learns to be still, it becomes a precision instrument, able to lock onto tasks with intense clarity and remain there without struggle. Stillness also builds emotional control. Often we lose focus not because of external noise, but because of internal emotional turbulence, stress, frustration, anxiety, excitement. These emotional storms pull our attention away from the present moment. But when you cultivate inner stillness, you create a calm center within yourself, a place of refuge untouched by external chaos or internal drama. This calmness allows you to stay grounded, to focus deeply, even when life gets noisy and unpredictable. Moreover, stillness enhances strategic thinking. In moments of stillness, your mind is free from the constant bombardment of surface-level thoughts. This creates space for deeper insights, creative ideas, and long-term vision to emerge. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born not in moments of frantic activity, but in quiet moments of reflection and stillness. But mastering inner stillness is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about moving through the world with a mind that remains calm and focused, regardless of external circumstances. Imagine being able to work with complete concentration in a noisy cafe. Imagine being able to stay fully present in a conversation without your mind wandering to worries or distractions. This is the practical power of inner stillness. It becomes your armor in a world designed to steal your attention. Building this level of focus requires patience. At first, stillness will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will resist, throwing up thoughts, distractions, and urges to move. But every time you bring your awareness back, every time you choose presence over mind wandering, you are strengthening your inner calm. Over time, this practice compounds, and stillness becomes not a struggle, but your natural state. One of the most profound effects of mastering inner stillness is the shift in your relationship with time. When you are fully present, time slows down. You experience life more vividly. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable because you are no longer scattered. You handle challenges with clarity and grace, making better decisions because your mind is not clouded by noise. Inner stillness is the ultimate focus superpower. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it is deeply transformative. When you learn to be still, you gain mastery over your mind. And when you master your mind, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Stillness is not the absence of life. It is the foundation upon which focused, powerful, and meaningful action is built. Master it, and you will discover a level of focus that feels effortless, unstoppable, and deeply fulfilling. Chapter 10. The Compound Effect of Focused Energy. How small actions create massive wins. Most people believe that success is about one big breakthrough, a lucky moment, or a sudden explosion of progress. But this belief is a dangerous illusion. The truth is far less dramatic, yet far more powerful. Great success is the result of small, focused actions, repeated consistently over time. This is the compound effect of focused energy. Like drops of water carving through stone, it is slow, quiet, and unstoppable. Think about how compound interest works in the financial world. You invest a small amount, and over time, the interest on that investment earns more interest. The growth starts slow, almost invisible, but as time passes, the results multiply exponentially. The same principle applies to your focus and your efforts. Every moment you choose to focus deeply on a meaningful task, every small, consistent action you take toward your goal compounds to create massive, life-changing results. The problem is, most people underestimate the power of small actions. They think if it's not dramatic, it's not valuable. So they ignore the small wins, skip the small habits, and wait for some magical moment of motivation to create a big leap. But those big leaps rarely come. What actually builds success are the countless small moments where you choose to focus when it would be easier to give in to distraction. The quiet hours of work that no one sees. The steady progress that feels almost boring. These are the building blocks of greatness. The compound effect of focused energy is so powerful because it works quietly in the background. You may not notice the progress each day, but it's happening. Every page you read sharpens your mind. Every workout builds your strength. Every focused work session moves you closer to mastery. Each small action builds momentum, and momentum is what creates unstoppable progress. But there's a catch. The compound effect works both ways. Just as positive actions accumulate to create success, negative habits and distractions compound into failure. Every time you choose to procrastinate, Every time you indulge in mindless scrolling, every time you break your focus for something trivial, you are making a small withdrawal from your future success. These tiny losses may seem harmless in the moment, but over time they add up. And by the time you realize the damage, months or even years have been wasted. That's why awareness is crucial. You must treat your focus as a daily investment in your future. Every minute of deep, intentional focus is like adding fuel to a fire that will eventually become an unstoppable blaze. You don't need to work harder than everyone else. You need to focus better, consistently, day after day. This simple shift in how you use your attention can outpace years of scattered, unfocused effort. Another important aspect of the compound effect is patience. In a world addicted to instant results, patience has become a rare superpower. But if you understand how compounding works, you'll see that the biggest rewards come to those who stay focused long enough to see their efforts multiply. The early stages are always the hardest. Progress is slow, results are invisible, and distractions are tempting. But if you stay the course, the tipping point will come, and when it does, the results will accelerate faster than you ever imagined. To harness the compound effect of focused energy, you must create simple, repeatable systems. Focused morning routines, daily work sessions with clear intentions, regular reflection to track your progress. These systems remove the need for constant motivation because they turn focus into a habit. And as these habits stack up, their impact compounds into extraordinary success. It's also vital to celebrate small wins. Recognizing progress, no matter how minor, reinforces the behavior and keeps your motivation alive. Remember, even the tallest buildings are constructed one brick at a time. Each brick matters. Each focused action you take is a victory. The compound effect teaches a powerful lesson. Small, focused efforts, when applied consistently, are far more powerful than occasional bursts of massive effort. This principle applies to every area of life: career, health, relationships, personal growth. Those who respect the power of compounding focus are the ones who achieve lasting success. Your future is being shaped by what you focus on today. Every minute counts, every small action matters. Focus your energy, stay patient, trust the process, and let the compound effect do its quiet, unstoppable work. Success is not sudden. It's earned, one focused moment at a time. Chapter 11. The Inner Fortress, Building Unshakable Mental Resilience for Laser Focus. Focus is not only about managing distractions, staying consistent, or creating systems. At its core, true focus is an act of mental resilience, the ability to stay centered, steady, and determined in the face of challenges, stress, setbacks, and temptations. It's easy to focus when everything is going smoothly. But what happens when life becomes chaotic, when failures pile up, when motivation disappears? This is where most people lose the battle. They crumble under pressure, allowing frustration, fear, and self-doubt to shatter their concentration. To win in the long run, you must build what can be called an inner fortress, a state of mind so solid that external events, negative emotions, and unexpected problems cannot easily shake your focus. This is mental toughness at its finest. It is not about being emotionless or cold. It's about developing a calm, controlled response to chaos. A resilient mindset that allows you to stay focused even when the world around you is falling apart. Resilience starts with accepting reality without resistance. Most distractions become powerful because people resist what's happening around them. They get frustrated by delays, overwhelmed by unexpected problems, or anxious about future uncertainties. This emotional turbulence pulls their attention away from meaningful work. But when you train yourself to accept reality as it is, without emotional overreaction, you conserve mental energy. You acknowledge the problem but refuse to let it dominate your focus. This acceptance is not passive, it is strategic. It allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Another pillar of the inner fortress is emotional regulation. Focus is fragile when your emotions are unstable. Therefore, you must develop techniques to stay calm under pressure. Simple practices like controlled breathing, brief pauses before responding, or reframing stressful situations help you maintain clarity. When you stay calm, you think better, decide better, and focus deeper. Emotional control is the invisible shield that protects your attention from being scattered by every emotional trigger. Building mental resilience also means developing a long-term perspective. Many people lose focus because they are trapped in short-term thinking. A minor failure feels like a disaster. A single bad day makes them question their entire journey. But those who have an inner fortress understand that setbacks are temporary and part of the process. They zoom out, seeing each challenge as a small piece of a much bigger picture. This mindset keeps them focused on the ultimate goal, not derailed by every bump in the road. Another key to resilience is developing self-belief through small victories. Confidence is not something you're born with, it's built through experience. Every time you overcome a distraction, every time you stay focused despite difficulties, you are laying another stone in your inner fortress. These small wins accumulate, reinforcing the belief that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. The stronger your belief, the stronger your focus becomes. Resilience also requires you to redefine failure. Most people see failure as a signal to stop, to give up. But resilient minds see failure as feedback, valuable information that helps them adjust, improve, and come back stronger. This shift in mindset transforms failures from focus breakers into focus builders. You stop fearing mistakes and start learning from them. This reduces the emotional sting of setbacks, allowing you to stay focused on growth rather than getting trapped in self-criticism. Finally, the inner fortress is strengthened by self-discipline and daily rituals. Discipline is the bridge between intention and action. It's what keeps you on track when motivation fades. Simple, consistent habits, like starting your day with focused work, limiting distractions, and dedicating time to mental training, reinforce your mental resilience. Over time, these rituals become non-negotiable parts of your life, anchoring your focus amidst chaos. But let's be clear, building an inner fortress is not a one-time effort, it's a lifelong practice. Every day you are either strengthening or weakening your mental resilience through your choices. The key is to stay committed to the process, to keep showing up, to keep building brick by brick. Over time, you will notice a profound transformation. Distractions that once derailed you will barely register. Stressful situations will no longer scatter your attention. You will become a calm, focused force, steady, powerful, unstoppable. In a world where so many are mentally fragile, where focus is rare and easily shattered, the ability to remain resilient and laser-focused will set you apart in ways you cannot imagine. Your inner fortress will become your greatest asset, a source of strength that propels you forward no matter how rough the storm outside becomes. Focus is not just a skill, it's a form of inner strength. Build your fortress, guard it fiercely, and from within those walls, create the life you deserve. Chapter 12. Focused Visualization. Programming your mind for victory. Focus is not just about controlling distractions or forcing yourself to stay on task. At its highest level, focus becomes a form of mental programming, a way to direct your thoughts, emotions, and energy toward a specific outcome with such clarity and intensity that it feels inevitable. This is where the power of focused visualization comes into play. It's not wishful thinking. It's not daydreaming. It is a deliberate, disciplined practice of seeing your goals with crystal clear detail and aligning your mind to bring them into reality. Most people allow their minds to be filled with random, unfiltered images, fears, doubts, worst-case scenarios, comparisons with others. These images create internal distractions, weakening focus and sabotaging performance. The mind doesn't distinguish much between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. If you constantly visualize failure, struggle, or mediocrity, you are unconsciously programming yourself to expect and even create those outcomes. But when you take conscious control of this mental process, visualization becomes one of the most powerful tools to sharpen your focus and accelerate your success. Focused visualization works because it gives your mind a clear target. Without a vivid image of where you want to go, your focus will wander aimlessly. But when you can see your goal, not just intellectually but emotionally and sensorially, your mind locks onto it with far greater intensity. Visualization activates the reticular activating system, RAS, in your brain, the part responsible for filtering information and prioritizing what you notice. When you repeatedly visualize your desired outcome, your RAS begins to filter the world differently. You start noticing opportunities, resources, and solutions that align with your vision. In this way, focused visualization literally rewires your perception to support your goals. To harness this power, you must practice visualization deliberately. Set aside time daily, even 5 to 10 minutes, to close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself achieving your goal. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? How does it feel emotionally and physically? The more detailed and immersive your visualization, the stronger the impact on your focus. But visualization is not just about the end result. The most effective form involves mentally rehearsing the process itself. Picture yourself working with full concentration, overcoming obstacles, handling setbacks with calm determination, staying disciplined day after day. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind for real-life challenges and strengthens your focus when it matters most. Focused visualization also has a powerful effect on emotional state management. Before important tasks or events, visualizing yourself performing with confidence and clarity reduces anxiety and boosts self-assurance. This emotional alignment is crucial because a calm, positive state enhances cognitive function, decision-making, and deep focus. Visualization without action is useless. It is not a substitute for hard work, but a complement to it. The purpose of visualization is to prime your mind for effective, focused action. Each session reinforces your belief in your ability to succeed, making it easier to stay on track when motivation dips. It's like sharpening the blade before going into battle, a preparation ritual that elevates your mental sharpness. Consistency is key. Occasional visualization has little impact, but daily, focused sessions create a compounding effect. Over weeks and months, your mind becomes increasingly aligned with your goals. Distractions lose their grip because your brain is trained to prioritize what truly matters. This internal alignment creates a flow state where focus becomes effortless and sustained. One of the most underestimated aspects of focused visualization is its ability to reprogram limiting beliefs. Often, people struggle with focus because deep down they don't truly believe they can succeed. Visualization allows you to rewrite these inner narratives by repeatedly exposing your mind to images of success, competence, and resilience. Over time, this mental repetition overwrites old limiting patterns and replaces them with empowering ones. Visualization taps into the power of emotional momentum. When you vividly experience the emotions of success in your mind, you generate motivation from within. This self-generated drive is far more reliable than waiting for external motivation, which is inconsistent and fleeting. Through visualization, you become your own source of inspiration, sustaining focus through the natural ups and downs of the journey. It's important to understand that the mind craves direction. If you don't give it a clear target through conscious visualization, it will create its own, often based on fear, doubt, or distraction. Focused visualization is your way of taking command, of deliberately choosing where your mind's energy flows. Focused visualization is not about fantasy, it is about programming your subconscious to support your conscious goals. It is about aligning thought, emotion, and attention toward meaningful action. When practiced consistently, it becomes a powerful engine that drives focus, sharpens clarity, and accelerates your path to victory. See it, feel it, believe it, then focus your energy until you make it real. Chapter 13. Energy Management. The hidden key to sustained focus and peak performance. Focus is often seen as a purely mental challenge, a battle of willpower, discipline, and self-control. But there's a critical dimension that many people ignore: your personal energy levels. The truth is, you cannot maintain deep, powerful focus if your body and mind are constantly drained. Focus is not just about trying harder, it's about managing your energy smarter. The difference between those who can stay locked in for hours and those who get mentally exhausted after a few minutes often comes down to how well they manage their physical, emotional, and mental energy. Think of your focus as a beam of light. When your energy levels are high, that beam is strong, sharp, and concentrated. But when your energy is depleted, the beam becomes weak, scattered, and unfocused. No matter how much you want to concentrate, if your energy is low, your ability to do deep work collapses. This is why energy management is not optional. It's the hidden foundation of sustained focus and peak performance. The first pillar of energy management is physical health. Your brain is part of your body. Poor sleep, unhealthy food, dehydration, and lack of movement all degrade cognitive performance. Sleep is especially critical. One night of poor sleep can reduce focus, decision-making ability, and self-control dramatically. High achievers protect their sleep like their life depends on it because they know it directly fuels their mental clarity. Nutrition is another crucial factor. What you eat becomes the raw material for your brain's functioning. Diets high in processed foods, sugar, and caffeine spikes lead to energy crashes and foggy thinking. On the other hand, whole foods, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and plenty of water provide stable, long-lasting energy. Movement also plays a role. Regular exercise improves blood flow to the brain, reduces stress hormones, and boosts cognitive sharpness. But physical energy is only one piece of the puzzle. Emotional energy has a profound impact on focus. When you're emotionally drained, whether from toxic relationships, unresolved conflicts, or constant negativity, your mental resources are consumed by emotional turbulence. You find it hard to concentrate because your mind is busy processing emotional stress. Protecting your emotional energy means setting boundaries, reducing exposure to negativity, and practicing emotional hygiene through mindfulness, journaling, or therapy. Mental energy is perhaps the most directly linked to focus. Every decision you make, every distraction you resist, every task you switch drains a bit of your mental battery. This is why decision fatigue is real. High performers reduce unnecessary decisions by automating routines, simplifying choices, and prioritizing their most important tasks during their peak energy hours, typically in the morning when mental resources are fresh. One of the most effective strategies for managing mental energy is working in focused intervals with regular breaks. The brain is not designed for non-stop concentration. Techniques like the Pomodoro method, 25 to 50 minutes of focused work followed by a short break, optimize your cognitive stamina. These breaks are not wasted time. They allow your brain to recover, reset, and maintain high levels of focus throughout the day. Another critical but often ignored aspect is environmental energy management. The spaces you inhabit affect your energy levels. Cluttered, noisy, chaotic environments drain you mentally without you even realizing it. On the other hand, clean, organized, calm spaces recharge your mental energy and make focus easier. Nature, in particular, has been shown to restore mental clarity and reduce cognitive fatigue. Simple habits like stepping outside for a few minutes, breathing fresh air, or even adding plants to your workspace can subtly boost your focus capacity. Managing social energy is equally important. Every interaction either drains or replenishes your energy. Spending time with positive, uplifting people can energize you, while being around complainers, critics, or constant talkers can exhaust your mental reserves. Be intentional about who you give your time and attention to. Protect your social energy as fiercely as you guard your time. There's also a deeper layer of energy management: alignment with purpose. When you work on things that truly matter to you, you tap into a source of energy that feels almost limitless. Passion and purpose act as emotional fuel, making it easier to stay focused and resist distractions. On the contrary, working on tasks that feel meaningless drains your energy quickly, no matter how well rested you are. This is why aligning your daily actions with your deeper goals and values is not just fulfilling, it's a strategic focus tool. To truly master energy management, you must adopt a proactive mindset. Don't wait until you feel burned out to take action. Build daily habits that replenish your physical, emotional, and mental energy. Think of yourself as an elite athlete. Every aspect of your lifestyle either supports or sabotages your performance. Managing your energy is about respect for your body, your mind, and your goals. You cannot achieve laser-sharp focus with a drained battery. You must nourish, protect, and renew your energy deliberately. When your energy levels are optimized, focus becomes easier, more natural, and more sustainable. This is the hidden key that separates those who can perform at a high level for years from those who burn out quickly. Focus is not just a mental battle. It's an energy game. Master your energy, and you'll master your focus. Master your focus, and you'll master your destiny. Chapter 14. The Power of Focused Habits. How Small Routines Shape a Focused Life. At its core, your ability to focus is not determined by motivation or willpower alone. These are fleeting, inconsistent forces. Some days you feel driven, other days you don't. If you rely on them, your focus will always be unstable. But there is something far more reliable, far more powerful: habits. Specifically, focused habits. Small, intentional routines that shape your mind to concentrate effortlessly day after day. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They automate your behavior, reduce decision fatigue, and create a solid foundation upon which focus can thrive. Think of focus like a muscle. You don't strengthen it by trying harder in random bursts. You build it through consistent, daily training. This is exactly what focused habits do. They eliminate the need for constant decision-making about when, where, and how you should focus. Instead, they create an environment where focus becomes the default mode of operation. The first step is understanding the cumulative power of small routines. People often dismiss small actions because they don't see immediate results. But success is not about sudden transformations. It's about the quiet, consistent application of focused effort over time. A simple morning routine that prioritizes your most important task, practiced daily, will outperform sporadic bursts of inspiration every single time. These focused habits don't need to be complicated. In fact, simplicity is their strength. A few examples include starting your day by reviewing your top 3 priorities before touching your phone. Setting a timer for a 50-minute deep work session immediately after your morning coffee. Taking a 5-minute mindfulness pause before beginning any task to center your mind. Ending each workday by planning your top task for tomorrow. Though these actions seem small, their cumulative impact on your ability to focus is enormous. Over weeks and months, they rewire your brain to associate certain cues with deep focus. You no longer need to wrestle with motivation because the habit itself carries you into a focused state. But to create truly effective focused habits, you must be intentional about habit stacking, the practice of linking new focus habits to existing routines. For example, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you immediately sit down to plan your top task. After your lunch break, you follow a short breathing exercise to reset your focus. By attaching new habits to existing ones, you reduce friction and increase the likelihood of consistency. Another critical principle is environmental design. Habits are easier to form when your environment supports them. Want to focus better? Remove visual clutter from your workspace. Use noise-cancelling headphones. Keep your phone out of sight during focus hours. The environment you build either reinforces or undermines your focus habits. Design it deliberately. Equally important is the power of keystone habits, habits that create positive ripple effects in other areas of your life. For example, regular exercise is not just good for your body. It improves mental clarity, emotional resilience, and your ability to concentrate. Quality sleep routines enhance cognitive performance and emotional stability, making focus easier and more sustainable. By anchoring your life around these keystone habits, you create a supportive ecosystem for focus to flourish. But even with the best intentions, habit formation faces one major enemy: inconsistency. Life will test your habits with unexpected events, emotional turbulence, and sheer busyness. This is why successful people build fail-proof systems to protect their focus habits. These systems include scheduling focus blocks as non-negotiable appointments, using habit trackers for visual accountability, having fallback versions of habits for busy days, e.g., a 10-minute focus sprint instead of skipping entirely, regularly reviewing and refining habits to adapt to changing circumstances. Moreover, focused habits are not just about work. They extend to how you consume information, how you interact with others, and how you recover. For instance, setting boundaries on social media usage, practicing active listening in conversations, or having a digital sunset routine where you disconnect from screens an hour before bed. These are all focused habits that protect your mental clarity. The real magic of focused habits is in their compounding effect. Each day you practice them, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become, someone who is calm, disciplined, and highly focused. Over time, these small votes accumulate into an unshakable identity. You no longer need to force focus. It becomes part of who you are. It's important to remember that habits are not formed perfectly. You will miss days. You will face resistance. But the key is not perfection. The key is persistence. Every time you return to your habit, even after slipping, you are reinforcing the neural pathways that make focus easier. Consistency beats intensity in the long run. In the end, focused habits give you freedom. Freedom from distraction. Freedom from decision fatigue. Freedom from the constant battle of trying to force yourself into focus. They create a structured path where progress becomes inevitable. Success stops being a matter of chance and becomes a matter of daily routine. If you want to achieve extraordinary results, don't rely on motivation. Build focused habits. Master the small actions. Let the compound effect of daily discipline shape your mind into a focus machine. Over time, you'll realize that the difference between those who dream and those who win is nothing more than a handful of small, focused habits, repeated relentlessly. Chapter 15. The Focus Flow State. Unlocking effortless concentration for peak results. Among the most powerful yet elusive experiences of human performance is a state known as flow, a mental zone where your focus becomes so deep, so immersive, that time seems to disappear, distractions lose their grip, and you operate at your absolute best. This is not a state reserved for elite athletes, artists, or top performers. Flow is available to anyone who understands how to create the right conditions for it. In fact, mastering flow is the ultimate upgrade for your focus, turning what once felt like a struggle into an effortless, high-performance experience. Flow is a psychological state where your skills are perfectly matched to a meaningful challenge. You're fully engaged, not overwhelmed, not bored, just locked in. In this state, your brain enters a unique rhythm, releasing neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, and endorphins, which sharpen attention, boost motivation, and enhance cognitive function. You feel energized, creative, and deeply satisfied. This is why tasks that normally require tremendous willpower can feel almost addictive when done in flow. However, flow does not happen by accident. It requires deliberate design. The first condition for entering flow is clarity of purpose. You must know exactly what you are trying to achieve. Vague goals scatter your focus, but a clear, specific objective gives your mind a target to lock on to. Whether it's writing a report, solving a problem, or practicing a skill, defining a precise goal for your focus session is essential. The next critical element is eliminating distractions. Flow demands uninterrupted attention. Every ping from your phone, every open browser tab, every stray thought is a potential flow killer. To enter flow, you must create a sacred space, both physically and mentally, where focus becomes non-negotiable. This means turning off notifications, closing unnecessary tabs, and even informing others not to disturb you. But it also means calming your internal noise through breathing exercises or short mindfulness practices before you begin. Another key to unlocking flow is working at the edge of your abilities. Flow does not arise from tasks that are too easy. They bore you, nor from tasks that are too hard. They frustrate you. The sweet spot is a challenge that stretches you just beyond your comfort zone, requiring full concentration, but still within reach. This balance between challenge and skill creates the tension necessary for flow to emerge. Time blocking extended periods for deep work is also essential. Flow typically takes 15 to 20 minutes to fully activate. If you constantly interrupt yourself, you never reach this powerful state. Schedule blocks of at least 60 to 90 minutes where your sole focus is on one meaningful task. This extended immersion gives your brain the runway it needs to enter flow and sustain it. Another factor is immediate feedback. Flow thrives when you can see the impact of your actions in real time. This feedback loop keeps you engaged and adjusts your efforts automatically. Whether it's editing your work as you go, receiving instant responses from a simulation, or simply tracking your progress, immediate feedback keeps your mind locked in and prevents disengagement. Moreover, physical posture and environment influence your ability to reach flow. A comfortable yet upright posture, good lighting, minimal visual clutter, and even ambient background music can enhance concentration. Some people find rhythmic instrumental music or nature sounds help mask distractions and create a mental tunnel for focus. Experiment with your environment to discover what best supports your flow state. Another profound but often neglected aspect is the role of intrinsic motivation. Flow is fueled by internal rewards, the joy of learning, the satisfaction of progress, the love of the craft. When your focus is aligned with something you genuinely care about, entering flow becomes far easier. This is why purpose-driven work feels less draining and more energizing. Reconnect with why the task matters to you on a deeper level before you begin. This emotional connection primes your brain for immersion. Once in flow, time distortion occurs. You might enter a work session intending to spend 30 minutes but find yourself absorbed for hours without fatigue. This is because flow optimizes the brain's energy use, making focus feel almost effortless. It's not magic. It's biology working in your favor when conditions are right. But flow is fragile. It requires respect and protection. A single interruption can knock you out of it. Therefore, it's essential to build rituals that signal to your mind it's time for deep focus. This could be a simple routine: brewing a cup of tea, putting on noise-cancelling headphones, clearing your desk. Small cues that condition your brain for flow. The more often you practice entering flow, the easier it becomes. Neural pathways strengthen, your ability to trigger the state improves, and focus transforms from a battle to a habit. Over time, flow becomes your default mode for meaningful work, giving you a tremendous edge in productivity, creativity, and performance. In the end, the flow state is the highest expression of focused living. It is where you do your best work, find deep satisfaction, and unlock levels of performance that are impossible through willpower alone. By mastering the art of flow, you transcend the struggle of forcing focus and step into a state of effortless, high-level execution. Focus is not meant to be forced forever. It is meant to evolve into flow, where doing the work becomes its own reward. Master flow, and you will discover a level of focus that feels natural, powerful, and deeply fulfilling. Chapter 16: The Discipline of Thought. Mastering the inner dialogue for laser focus. Beneath every distraction, every break in concentration, lies a deeper battle, the battle with your own thoughts. Focus is not just about resisting external interruptions. It's about managing the constant stream of internal chatter that pulls your attention away from what truly matters. These thoughts come in many forms: random memories, future worries, doubts, judgments, fantasies, and endless to-do lists. If left unchecked, this mental noise will sabotage your focus from within. To achieve mastery, you must cultivate the discipline of thought, the ability to direct, filter, and command your inner dialogue with precision and control. Most people live as passive observers of their thoughts. Ideas arise, emotions flare up, worries appear, and they simply follow wherever the mind leads. But this reactive approach is the very reason why sustained focus feels so difficult. The mind is like a wild horse, powerful but undisciplined. Without training, it will pull you in every direction except the one you want to go. Thought discipline is the act of taking the reins and guiding this wild energy toward a chosen destination. The first step in disciplining your thoughts is awareness. You cannot control what you don't observe. Begin by watching your inner dialogue throughout the day. Notice how often your mind drifts into irrelevant territory. Pay attention to the triggers that lead to distraction, boredom, fatigue, anxiety, or even curiosity. This simple act of noticing without judgment begins the process of regaining control. You are creating a space between thought and attention, and in that space lies your power. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also develop the ability to redirect your focus deliberately. When you catch your mind wandering, gently but firmly bring it back to the task at hand. This is a mental rep, a small but vital act of focus training. Every time you redirect your attention, you are strengthening the neural circuits responsible for concentration. Over time, this practice reduces the frequency and duration of distractions. One of the most effective tools for thought discipline is mental labeling. When a distracting thought arises, simply label it: worry, planning, memory, judgment. This labeling creates psychological distance, preventing you from getting caught in the thought's narrative. It allows you to acknowledge the thought without letting it hijack your focus. With practice, this becomes an automatic response, enabling you to stay anchored in the present moment despite the mind's constant chatter. Another critical aspect is learning to challenge and replace unproductive thoughts. Many distractions stem from negative inner dialogue. This is too hard. I'm not good enough. I'll never finish this. These thoughts are not facts. They are mental habits that undermine your focus. When they arise, confront them with evidence, reframe them into empowering statements, and refocus on the task. For example, Replace "I can't do this" with "I am learning and improving with every step." This conscious reframing transforms your inner dialogue from a source of distraction into a source of motivation. Mindfulness meditation is a powerful practice for strengthening thought discipline. By dedicating even 10 minutes a day to observing your breath and gently bringing your attention back whenever your mind wanders, you are training the fundamental skill of focus. Research shows that regular mindfulness practice increases gray matter density in brain regions associated with attention and emotional regulation. This neurological upgrade translates directly into improved focus and reduced susceptibility to distraction. The discipline of thought also involves curating what you feed your mind. The information you consume shapes the quality of your thoughts. Constant exposure to negative news, shallow content, or toxic social media influences clutters your mind with unnecessary noise. Be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Read materials that align with your goals. Engage with content that uplifts and educates, and limit exposure to mental junk food. A clean mental diet creates fertile ground for focused thinking. Another advanced technique is practicing focused self-inquiry. Instead of letting your mind wander aimlessly, direct it with purposeful questions. What is the most important thing I should be focusing on right now? Is this thought helping me or distracting me? How can I bring my full attention to this task? These questions act as anchors, pulling your focus back to where it belongs and training your mind to think deliberately rather than reactively. It's also crucial to develop emotional resilience toward intrusive thoughts. Not every distraction can be prevented, but your response to them can be mastered. When a thought pulls you away, avoid frustration or self-criticism. These emotional reactions only deepen the distraction. Instead, respond with calmness and curiosity. Interesting, my mind wandered. Time to return. This gentle approach preserves your mental energy and reinforces the habit of steady focus. Over time, as you practice these techniques, you will notice a profound shift. The chaotic noise of random thoughts will lose its grip. Your inner dialogue will become calmer, more purposeful, more aligned with your goals. Focus will stop feeling like a constant battle and start to feel like a natural flow of attention directed by your conscious choice. The discipline of thought is not about suppressing your mind. It's about mastering it, about transforming the constant stream of inner chatter into a powerful current that moves in the direction you choose. When you achieve this, you will unlock a level of focus that is no longer fragile or forced, but firm, flexible, and deeply rooted in self-mastery. Focus begins in the mind. Master your thoughts, and you will master your life. Chapter 17. Mental Minimalism. Clearing the clutter for maximum focus. In a world drowning in information, complexity, and constant stimulation, the ability to focus deeply has become a rare and valuable skill. But there's a hidden truth that most people overlook. Focus thrives on simplicity. The more cluttered your mind is with unnecessary thoughts, commitments, and information, the harder it becomes to direct your attention to what truly matters. This is where the philosophy of mental minimalism becomes a game changer. It's not just about decluttering your environment, it's about simplifying your inner world to create the perfect conditions for razor-sharp focus. Mental minimalism means intentionally reducing the mental noise that competes for your attention. Every unfinished task, unresolved worry, open digital tab, and random thought adds to your cognitive load. Like background apps draining your phone's battery, these mental processes quietly consume your brain's limited resources. Over time, this hidden clutter fragments your attention, reduces your mental bandwidth, and leaves you feeling overwhelmed and scattered. The human brain is not designed to manage endless streams of information. Cognitive science has proven that working memory is limited. Most people can only hold around 4 to 7 items in their active attention at once. When you overload it, errors increase, decision-making slows down, and focus collapses. Mental minimalism helps you reclaim this precious cognitive space, allowing you to apply your full mental power to the task at hand. The first step in practicing mental minimalism is capturing and externalizing your thoughts. Often, your mind keeps circling unfinished tasks and random reminders because it doesn't trust you to remember them later. This is known as the open loop problem. The solution is simple but powerful. Write everything down. Use a notebook, a task manager, or even a simple note app to offload your thoughts. By externalizing them, you free up mental space and reduce cognitive clutter. Next, embrace the habit of ruthless prioritization. Not everything deserves your attention. Most people are overwhelmed because they treat every task as equally important. Mental minimalism requires you to ask hard questions. What is truly essential? Which tasks, if ignored, would have no real impact? What can be delegated, automated, or eliminated altogether? By focusing only on high-impact tasks, you streamline your mental focus and achieve more with less effort. Digital minimalism is another critical aspect. The constant influx of emails, notifications, social media updates, and news creates a never-ending stream of micro-distractions. Each ping pulls you out of deep work and forces your brain to refocus, which drains mental energy. To practice digital minimalism, set strict boundaries, turn off non-essential notifications, batch check emails at specific times, limit social media usage to defined windows, unsubscribe from unnecessary newsletters and information sources. By reducing the digital noise, you create a cleaner, quieter mental environment where focus can thrive. Mental minimalism also involves simplifying your goals and commitments. Many people dilute their focus by chasing too many objectives at once. The more is better mindset backfires because it spreads your energy thin. Instead, apply the principle of less but better. Focus on one major goal per season, one key project per week, and one primary task per day. This singular focus amplifies your results and prevents overwhelm. Another dimension is decluttering your internal dialogue. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself, the constant self-criticism, overthinking, or unnecessary analysis. Much of this inner chatter is repetitive and unhelpful. Practice observing these thoughts without getting entangled in them. Use techniques like mindfulness, journaling, or cognitive reframing to simplify your inner narrative. Replace complexity with clarity. Replace overthinking with focused action. Environmental minimalism supports mental minimalism. A cluttered physical space sends signals of chaos to your brain, subtly increasing stress and reducing clarity. Clean, organized, and minimalist workspaces promote calmness and enhance your ability to concentrate. Apply the one task, one space principle. Designating specific areas for specific activities reduces cognitive friction and anchors focus. Decision fatigue is another hidden enemy of focus. Every small decision you make depletes your mental energy. Mental minimalism advocates for reducing unnecessary decisions. Simplify your wardrobe, meal planning, daily routines, and workflows. Automating or pre-deciding these aspects frees up cognitive resources for tasks that truly matter. At a deeper level, mental minimalism requires cultivating a mindset of sufficiency, constantly seeking more information, more productivity hacks, more stimulation, keeps your mind in a state of restless dissatisfaction. Instead, practice contentment with focused depth. Learn to find satisfaction in doing fewer things, but with greater attention and excellence. Depth beats breadth in the focus game. One powerful ritual is the daily mental reset. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review what's on your mind. clear out lingering worries, and set clear intentions for tomorrow. This practice prevents mental clutter from accumulating and ensures you start each day with a clean slate. The ultimate goal of mental minimalism is not to do less for the sake of doing less. It's to remove the unnecessary so that the essential becomes effortless. By clearing the clutter from your mind, you create space for creativity, clarity, and concentrated effort. Focus stops being a struggle and becomes a natural byproduct of a simplified, intentional life. In a world addicted to more, mental minimalism is a revolutionary act. It's a conscious choice to value quality over quantity, depth over speed, presence over busyness. When you declutter your mind, you unlock a level of focus that is pure, powerful, and profoundly effective. Master mental minimalism, and you will master your focus, not through force, but through clarity and simplicity. Chapter 18, The Unseen Costs of Distraction: How Fragmented Focus Destroys Your Potential. In today's hyper-connected world, the word distraction has become so common that its true danger is often ignored. People think of distractions as harmless. A few minutes scrolling social media, replying to messages, switching between tabs. But behind every small interruption lies a much bigger consequence. Distraction is not just a momentary lapse of attention. It is a silent assassin of your potential. To achieve mastery and focus, you must fully understand the unseen costs of distraction and why even minor lapses carry major long-term consequences. Every time you switch tasks, check a notification, or let your mind wander to irrelevant thoughts, your brain undergoes a process called attention residue. This means that even after you attempt to refocus, part of your cognitive resources remain stuck on the previous task or distraction. Studies show that it can take up to 20 to 25 minutes to fully regain deep focus after an interruption. Multiply this by the dozens of micro-distractions most people encounter daily, and it becomes clear why sustained focus feels so elusive. But the cost is not just in lost time. Frequent distractions damage the very structure of your brain's focus circuits. Neuroscience reveals that the more you allow yourself to be distracted, the more you reinforce neural pathways of impulsivity and shallow attention. Over time, this rewiring makes it physically harder for you to concentrate, even when you try. What begins as occasional multitasking becomes a chronic inability to sustain attention, leading to decreased cognitive performance and diminished problem-solving abilities. Beyond the biological, there's the emotional toll. Constant interruptions fragment your sense of progress. When your focus is scattered, you rarely enter flow states where meaningful work happens. This lack of deep engagement leads to feelings of frustration, dissatisfaction, and a sense that you're always busy but never accomplishing anything significant. Over time, this emotional friction erodes confidence, increases stress, and feeds into a cycle of anxiety and burnout. Distractions also have a hidden impact on your memory and learning. Deep focus is essential for transferring information from short-term to long-term memory. When your attention is divided, your brain cannot encode information properly, leading to superficial understanding and poor retention. This is why multitasking students or professionals often struggle to truly grasp complex concepts. Focus is not just about productivity, it's the gateway to genuine learning and intellectual growth. Another unseen cost is the degradation of decision-making quality. Every distraction forces your brain to reorient, draining your finite cognitive energy. This constant switching exhausts your decision-making capacity, leading to impulsive choices, poor judgment, and mental fatigue. High performers understand this and fiercely protect their focus to preserve their ability to make high-quality decisions consistently. Distractions also sabotage your creative potential. Creativity doesn't happen in shallow, scattered moments. It requires uninterrupted mental space for ideas to incubate, connect, and evolve. When your attention is constantly hijacked, you never allow your mind to dive deep enough to access its creative resources. This is why some of the best ideas come in moments of stillness, not in the chaos of constant input. Perhaps the most damaging cost of distraction is the long-term erosion of self-discipline. Every time you indulge a distraction, you are reinforcing the habit of giving in to immediate gratification. This weakens your willpower, making it harder to resist temptations in the future. Over time, this leads to a diminished sense of control over your own behavior, which is devastating for anyone striving for personal or professional excellence. The societal normalization of distraction has created a dangerous illusion that multitasking is efficient, that being constantly available is necessary, and that attention can be divided without consequence. But the reality is starkly different. Focus is a finite resource. Every fragment of attention you give away to distractions is a fragment of your potential lost forever. To reclaim your focus, you must first recognize distraction as a serious threat, not a minor inconvenience. Treat it with the same level of caution you would treat any other form of sabotage to your success. This mindset shift is crucial. Once you see distractions for what they truly are, thieves of time, energy, and potential, you can begin to take deliberate, aggressive action to eliminate them. Start by conducting a distraction audit. Track every interruption you face in a typical day, both external, notifications, emails, people, and internal, worries, random thoughts, emotional triggers. Awareness is the first step to control. Next, implement barriers to distraction. Turn off non-essential notifications. Use focus apps that block distracting sites. Create dedicated focus zones where interruptions are not allowed. Schedule specific times for checking messages and emails rather than reacting in real time. Just as importantly, train your mind to resist self-initiated distractions. This means cultivating mindfulness, practicing deliberate breathing, and reinforcing the habit of returning your attention to the present moment whenever it drifts. These mental reps are what rebuild your focus circuits and reverse the damage caused by chronic distraction. But remember, eliminating distractions is not about creating a life of rigid discipline and zero flexibility. It's about designing your day in a way that aligns with your most important goals, values, and aspirations. It's about being intentional with your attention, using it as a tool for creation, learning, growth, and excellence. The costs of distraction are silent but severe. They accumulate slowly, invisibly, until one day you realize how much time, potential, and opportunity you've sacrificed. But by recognizing this truth now, you have the power to change, to reclaim your attention, to rebuild your focus, to protect your most valuable resource, your mind. Distraction is the enemy. Focus is your weapon. Sharpen it, guard it, and use it with precision. Your future depends on it. Chapter 19. The Focus Mindset. Thinking like a winner in a distracted world. True focus does not begin with strategies, apps, or productivity hacks. It begins with mindset. More specifically, it begins with adopting a mindset that sees focus not as a chore, but as a way of life, a non-negotiable discipline, a personal standard, a reflection of how seriously you take your goals. This is the focus mindset, a way of thinking that transforms how you approach your time, your attention, and your ambitions. In a world where most people live in reaction mode, constantly pulled by notifications, driven by urgency rather than importance, and addicted to shallow stimulation, developing a focus mindset is a radical act. It's a deliberate choice to reject the norm of constant distraction and to pursue clarity, depth, and meaningful progress instead. This shift in thinking is what separates high achievers from the average crowd. At its core, the focus mindset is built on a simple but powerful belief. Where I direct my attention, I direct my life. You begin to see every moment of attention as an investment. You recognize that time is fixed, but attention is fluid. Unlike time, which passes whether you use it well or not, attention is something you can control, something you can choose to sharpen or scatter. This realization gives you a profound sense of agency over your life's direction. The focus mindset means approaching each day with intentionality. You don't wake up and let the day pull you in random directions. You wake up and decide what deserves your focus. You ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that will make the biggest impact? What distractions will try to steal my attention, and how will I guard against them? How can I align my actions with my long-term vision? This proactive approach shifts you from being a passive consumer of distractions to an active creator of results. Another pillar of the focus mindset is embracing boredom and discomfort. In the age of instant gratification, the slightest hint of boredom sends people scrambling for their phones, refreshing feeds, and seeking quick hits of dopamine. But winners understand that real progress happens in the unsexy, repetitive moments, the hours of practice, the tedious problem-solving, the quiet reflection. They train themselves to sit with discomfort, to resist the urge for constant stimulation, and to find satisfaction in the process of focused effort. The focus mindset also involves a profound respect for delayed gratification. You understand that most meaningful goals, building a business, mastering a skill, transforming your health, require sustained focus over months and years. You stop expecting instant results and start valuing the journey of incremental progress. This patience protects you from the frustration and discouragement that often derail focus. Another key to the focus mindset is developing an identity-based approach. Instead of saying, "I need to focus more," you begin to see yourself as a focused person. You adopt the identity of someone who values deep work, who guards their attention, who doesn't get easily distracted. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you are casting a vote for this identity. Over time, it becomes self-reinforcing. You don't have to force yourself to focus anymore. It becomes who you are. The focus mindset also demands radical ownership of your attention. You stop blaming external circumstances. No more "I'm too busy," "I get too many messages," or "it's hard to focus in this environment." While external factors can be challenging, you recognize that your response to them is within your control. You take full responsibility for creating boundaries, designing your environment, and choosing how you engage with the world. A powerful aspect of the focus mindset is clarity of purpose. Focus becomes effortless when you are deeply connected to your why. You know what you're working towards, why it matters, and how today's efforts fit into the bigger picture. This clarity cuts through distraction like a laser. It helps you say no to the unimportant and stay committed to what truly moves you forward. Another often overlooked component is mental agility. Focus is not about rigidly locking onto one task no matter what. It's about knowing when to zoom in and when to step back. It's about recognizing when your energy is best spent on deep work and when a strategic pause or shift is necessary. The focus mindset is flexible, adaptive, and responsive, not brittle or perfectionistic. Cultivating a focus mindset also involves developing emotional detachment from external validation. In a distracted world, the constant pursuit of likes, comments, and instant feedback can fragment your attention and make you a slave to the opinions of others. The focus mindset frees you from this trap. You stop chasing external approval and start focusing on intrinsic goals, on mastery, contribution, and personal growth. The focus mindset is built on discipline over motivation. You don't rely on feeling inspired to do the work. You show up day after day, regardless of mood. You build systems, routines, and habits that make focus the default, not the exception. You understand that discipline creates freedom, the freedom to pursue your dreams with full attention, the freedom to live life on your terms. In a distracted world, adopting the focus mindset is a revolutionary act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your goals, your dreams, and your life deserve more than scattered, half-hearted attention. It is a commitment to excellence, depth, and meaningful progress. The world will always try to pull you away from focus, but with the right mindset, you become immovable. You become the calm center in a storm of distractions. You focus until you win, not through force, but through clarity, intention, and identity. Think like a winner. Focus like a warrior. Live with purpose. Chapter 20. The Inner War. Overcoming self-sabotage to achieve unbreakable focus. Focus is not only about external distractions, it's about the invisible battles you fight within yourself. The truth is, no matter how perfect your environment is, no matter how many strategies you know, if you don't confront and overcome self-sabotage, your ability to focus will always be compromised. Self-sabotage is the silent destroyer of potential. It's the subtle resistance, the excuses, the self-doubt, the procrastination, and the fear that pulls you away from the work that truly matters. To develop unbreakable focus, you must first win the war within. Self-sabotage often disguises itself in innocent forms. You tell yourself, "I'll just take a quick break," but that break turns into hours of wasted time. You convince yourself that you're not in the right mood to work, so you postpone important tasks. You get caught in over-planning, overthinking, or endlessly consuming information, believing you're being productive when in reality you're avoiding the hard work of focused action. These behaviors are not accidents. They are defense mechanisms your mind uses to protect you from discomfort, fear of failure, or fear of success. To overcome self-sabotage, you must first develop radical self-awareness. You need to become intimately familiar with the patterns, thoughts, and emotional triggers that lead you to sabotage your focus. Pay close attention to the moments when you lose momentum. What excuses arise? What emotions do you feel? Is it fear of not being good enough? Is it boredom? Is it the discomfort of delayed gratification? By identifying these internal obstacles, you can begin to dismantle them with clarity and precision. One of the most common forms of self-sabotage is perfectionism. The belief that you must do something perfectly or not at all is a powerful barrier to focus. Perfectionism paralyzes you with unrealistic expectations, leading to procrastination and avoidance. The antidote is adopting a mindset of progress over perfection. Understand that messy action beats perfect inaction. Focus is not about producing flawless work on the first try. It's about consistent effort, iteration, and improvement. Another insidious form of self-sabotage is imposter syndrome. The internal narrative that you're not qualified, not talented enough, or not worthy of success can severely undermine your focus. When you believe deep down that you don't deserve to succeed, your mind will unconsciously seek distractions as a way to avoid confronting this discomfort. To fight this, you must actively challenge your limiting beliefs. Document your achievements, no matter how small. Reframe your failures as lessons. Surround yourself with evidence of your capability until your inner dialogue shifts from doubt to confidence. Emotional regulation is also key in overcoming self-sabotage. Often we sabotage our focus not because of logical reasons, but because of unprocessed emotions. Stress, anxiety, frustration, these emotional states hijack your attention and drive you toward quick, shallow distractions that offer temporary relief. Developing emotional awareness through mindfulness, journaling, or simple breathwork can help you stay grounded and prevent emotional turbulence from derailing your focus. A powerful technique for combating self-sabotage is implementing pre-commitment strategies. When you know your tendencies to get distracted or procrastinate, you can set up systems that make sabotage harder. For example, use accountability partners who check in on your progress. Block distracting websites during focus hours. Schedule focus sessions in public libraries or co-working spaces to leverage social pressure. Prepare your work environment the night before to reduce friction. These are not signs of weakness. They are intelligent strategies for managing your own psychology. Another subtle but devastating form of self-sabotage is task switching under stress. When a task feels difficult, your mind seeks an escape route, often by shifting to another task that feels easier or more rewarding in the short term. This creates a cycle of shallow work and prevents deep, meaningful progress. The solution is to cultivate task resilience, the ability to stay with discomfort without fleeing. This can be trained through deliberate practice. Set short, focused intervals where your only goal is to stay with the task, regardless of how you feel. Over time, your capacity for deep focus will grow. Visualization and mental rehearsal can also play a significant role in overcoming self-sabotage. Before starting a challenging task, close your eyes and visualize yourself working with full focus, overcoming distractions, and finishing strong. This primes your brain, reduces resistance, and builds a mental blueprint for success. It's also vital to recognize the role of self-compassion in defeating self-sabotage. Many people fall into the trap of harsh self-criticism when they lose focus. This negative inner dialogue creates shame, which further feeds avoidance behaviors. Instead, adopt a compassionate mindset. See lapses in focus not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and improve. This reduces emotional resistance and encourages a healthier relationship with focused work. At a deeper level, self-sabotage often stems from a misalignment between your daily actions and your deeper values. If you're consistently sabotaging your focus, it may be a sign that the work you're doing lacks personal meaning or connection to your core goals. Take time to reflect. Why does this work matter to me? How does this align with the person I want to become? What impact will it have on my life if I stay focused? Reconnecting with your deeper purpose reignites intrinsic motivation and makes focus feel less like a chore and more like a natural expression of who you are. Overcoming self-sabotage is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every time you resist the urge to distract yourself, every time you stay with the discomfort and keep going, you are weakening the grip of self-sabotage and strengthening your focus muscle. This is an ongoing battle, a daily commitment to self-awareness, discipline, and personal growth. In the end, self-sabotage is nothing more than a habit of escaping discomfort. Focus is the habit of confronting it. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not talent or intelligence. It's the willingness to face themselves honestly, to fight the inner war, and to choose focus anyway. Master this inner battle, and you will become unstoppable. Throughout this journey, you've seen that focus is far more than a productivity tool. It is not just about getting more done. Focus is a way of life. It is the foundation upon which every form of success, personal growth, and self-mastery is built. In a world designed to scatter your attention, mastering focus is a revolutionary act of reclaiming your power. You have learned that the real battle is not with external distractions, but with the enemy within. The constant noise of self-doubt, fear, procrastination, and emotional impulses. You've discovered that focus is not a natural talent, but a trained skill, a muscle that strengthens with consistent effort. Through single tasking, building mental discipline, cutting the noise, guarding your attention, and cultivating purpose-driven action, you have the blueprint to sharpen your focus and stay locked in on what truly matters. You've understood that relentless consistency, not bursts of motivation, is what leads to victory. You've explored how habits, systems, environment, and energy management work together to sustain deep focus. You've seen how the compound effect of small, focused actions builds unstoppable momentum, and how mastering flow, inner stillness, and thought discipline unlocks levels of concentration few ever experience. But most importantly, you've faced the hard truth. Focus is a choice, a daily choice, to rise above distraction, to confront self-sabotage, to think like a winner, to value depth over noise, to align your attention with your highest values and long-term vision. Every moment you spend in focused action is an investment in your future self. Every time you choose to concentrate on what matters, despite discomfort or temptation, you are forging the character of a person destined to win. In a distracted world, focus becomes your superpower. Not because it's easy, but because so few are willing to do the work to master it. Let this be your new standard. To focus when others are scattered, to persist when others give up, to live intentionally, purposefully, and powerfully. Success will not be handed to you, but if you focus your mind, sharpen your attention, and refuse to quit, it will be earned. Focus until you win, and once you do, focus even harder, because the life you want is built one focused moment at a time.